You're listening to Inclusive AF with Jackye Clayton and Katee Van Horn.
Jackye, I got one question for you today.
Yes,
Do you understand the assignment?
I understand the assignment. Do you understand the assignment?
Oh, absolutely, I do. I 100% do.
Like, doesn't it seem like we were just here?
Yes,
Like,
4 years ago.
oh, wait. Actually, I was thinking about the 8 years ago, like there's no way, but we know there was a way, so it's a little
Right.
different. Right?
Yeah, there's a way through it. By the way, this is Katee Van Horn
And this is Jackye Clayton, and welcome
to the Inclusive AF podcast.
Listen, let me tell you how times has changed, okay? Because
Tell me.
on the screen, there were two Kamala Harris signs, Dose and mine. And I was like, you know what? I really wish you would. Somebody take this down. I swear to you.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen that before. For those who are new to our podcast, they know I live in Waco, Texas. It's really small and everybody loves each other because everyone, are children of God. So no one likes to say anything negative. And so you usually don't see a lot of signs except for the extremists. But now, people are, like my shirt says, voting like it's your black job. It's very get out there.
And Jackye, what I'll say to that is I have a few signs in my yard. And it's very purposeful because I live in Phoenix, Arizona. So
Yes.
we do have a lot of signs in a lot of yards that maybe don't agree with me and vice versa. And that's okay because we're all God's children, to your point.
Right. That's right.
But then also, I wish a bitch would.
Was raised in I wish a bitch would. So
I was raised in the woods. So
I do have one sign that
streets
says
of Ohio.
so
The mean streets of Doylestown, Ohio.
Toledo. I do have one. It says vote to make America decent, honorable, and kind again.
Yes. Yes.
I don't understand. Like, that is bipartisan. Wherever you lay,
But that's
vote.
the thing. It is, but it isn't. Like it's like how
normally, like, people should think like it used to be. Like, I mean, I thought George Bush and senior and junior were a lot of things, but not like card carrying hate members or stupid. Like, I thought we disagreed.
Yeah. They had Dick Cheney for that, so they didn't really need to. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. You really are not kidding. You're really not.
Although I will say this, Liz Cheney has
Girl,
her father and a lot of
I know. I kind of low key was like, wouldn't that be something? When Kamala had to figure out like their running mate, I was like, what if it was a Liz Cheney Kamala Harris ticket?
That would be bananas.
Ghosts would have come out. Like,
yeah,
it would be just like Haunted Mansion at Disney. Like,
well, that's the thing that's happening right now in Arizona. So we had our mayor in Mesa, staunch Republican, very good member of the Latter-day Saints, so good Mormon. And he just came out for Kamala and said, I cannot support Trump. And he, had a press briefing and announced that. And then he had 3 or 4 other people behind him. One is a very, very significant member of the business community. So like there are a lot of folks that are like, yeah, we're done with this. It's gone too far. And I think with the addition of JD, like I don't even know I don't know what to say about him at all. Like even a little.
No. And the thing that we know is that hate is just not sustainable. It's just not scalable. And eventually you burn out. Like, you can't have that much energy, hateful energy. You just can't.
No. But so many people
But JD, like, what is happening? Like, I really, honestly,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just the weirdest stuff that is like coming out of his mouth and Trump's mouth that you're like, Wait, what? They
Out
don't,
of everybody in the United States that could have
yeah,
qualified.
right. And I
That's
don't understand what's going on. It's very weird. But I don't know.
what's going
So,
to happen. I don't think it's obvious. I think that the other part that has been like, trying to support as but like the thing that threw me off was seeing Trump at the National Association of Business Journalists. We talked about it before.
mhm,
Like that interaction is what everything that's wrong in America right now. Like the ignorance, like the willful ignorance, the like not like the Dunning-Kruger effect that you really think you know what you're talking about and you're inflexible, like the utter disrespect in somebody else's home. Like, we both travel internationally. You recognize you're a guest, or we go to conferences, you're a guest to the chair, right? You're at this conference, you were invited, but you're a guest and you should act as such. Like, you have no raising,
right.
Mr. Trump.
I want to understand the logic of what he thought he was going to get out of that. That was like, hey, this is a good idea because of X. Or like, I
Right.
think the woman opened up with, we invite a lot of politicians here, and, I think Kamala was on later that week virtually. But it's so interesting, like what was the logic? But it also, she opens up, we have you for an hour. And then after, 25 minutes, it was like, and we're done. And you wonder who is in her ear saying, wrap it up. We need to get him off the stage immediately. Like, were his people like
What's
this?
really happening? Because I
Yeah.
don't believe, I mean, that was just freaking, it looked like a 9/11 moment. Like, remember
Right.
all the clips of like Bush leaning over and then being like, oh, like you knew something really bad was going on. Like
But he was
somebody's,
sitting in front of a room full of children. Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of felt like he is so far off script right now that we can't trust this guy
No. And
to come
and
back
all
out.
three of them, the woman on the very end, whose name I'm not remembering right now because I don't remember anyone's name because have a horrible habit of not remembering names. She like tried to like throw him a few lifelines and
Right.
he just was like blowing it up every time. And you're like, what are you, sir? She's actually trying to help you,
The
not
Fox
a
woman,
complete,
or
yeah.
because that one woman, I think it like had to have a lollipop. Like I think she was like full shock. Like I think like what is happening
Right.
in the world?
The whole thing was it was fascinating, but it was also, it was such a, I'm going to say for me, it was such a great example of how Black women have to conform
That's
and
right.
still be respectful in the face of the most wild disrespect and degradation and whatnot. And they all kept their cool. And, yes, they did push back on him.
Like, Katie, that might have been my last day. Like I would say, I'm taking this pin off, and today's my last day as a member of this organization. And then we might have to I might have to throw these hands because that was ridiculous. And I hurt for them in
Right.
watching.
Right. That's exactly like it wasn't even a, hey, great that they kept their cool. It was, how much more of this do people have to take before you're like, sir, you're nonsensical, A, B, you're disrespectful, and you're a liar. You're literally sitting right here with me and you're lying, liar pants.
Right.
Uh,
I
don't,
feel like this week has been I guess we can just like short list or short name this one like politics. Like where are we going? Because there have been some interesting things going on, and regardless of we can look at, okay, Kamala Harris is like the Obi-Wan Kenobi, our only hope, right, going
right.
forward, because that's the candidate. And then you have the Tim Walz as the vice president. But it's kind of Looney Tunes where the Democrats were like, okay, so you love the police and like you're a gun owner, like what is literally happening to the Democratic, like when did this become okay? There is still like other elections where it's like, okay, I'm still voting in this direction, but I got my eye on you because that feels different.
But I will say this, the way he has come out, like full barrel, like, hey, not messing around. And the things that you're saying is just very intelligent. And it's such a contrast to JD Vance's first week, which was like, I'm sorry, what did you just say, sir? Like what? Huh?
I'm still. And then did you hear his wife? I think her name is Usha, is absolutely brilliant when you hear her talk. And then it's like I have questions.
Right.
Like,
There are so many questions. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I do like him though, and I do like that he is totally um just again coming out and like saying the things that all of us want to say of
yeah,
like this I love that, you know, it's the you're just being weird. Like you're being weird, like not even hey, whatever, but just like this doesn't make any sense. Um
for sure.
yeah. So
I just think it's really interesting. There was an article that came out and said, you have to put what your salary is. And they were looking at it, and I think Tim Wall's salary, you get like 260,000 for a vice president. And I think the current was like $163,000 a year compared to like, JD Vance, which I still don't know what they're like. There's a story here that we don't know about, who's on the board of all of these different tech organizations and, all of those things. And they're like, these people are not the same.
no, they really are not. It is, and I think that's a part that's like so it's they're doing actually a very brilliant job of it, of highlighting how very much not the same they are. And it's working. I think it's resonating with people of like, yeah, they're odd over there and we're just normal and we're just going to the Minnesota State Fair and we're trying to like make things good. Like the whole, the breakfast and lunch at schools, the off, supplying women with feminine products, things like that. All of these things are just such positive things. And it's also like, well, yeah, these are all good things. It's not something that's controversial or shouldn't be controversial. And so I did have someone like that was like, oh, um, offer or putting like tampons and pads into the bathrooms of high schools is, is somehow creating or pushing folks to be transgender. And I'm like, what? I'm
Right.
sorry. Like, I'm still trying to figure or piece that one together. I'm not quite sure how that makes sense. But did you see that at all?
Mm-mm. I did not.
It's
I
just all of the topics are so weird.
I just, that like if you've worked for an organization and like the CEO left and you get a new CEO and they're like trying to be funny and none of the jokes are landing and then you kind of feel Twilight Zoney.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't gonna agree, but I thought just like we've seen historically in a lot of these, like you would have somebody who would make you more understanding.
Right.
Like never in my life would I have thought, wow, his previous running mate looks like a pretty good guy now. I never thought that was going to
You
happen.
never thought you'd be like, that Mike Pence.
No,
Solid.
I was never like, where's the guy like Pence when you need him?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God. Geez.
I don't, but I think some of the other things that is interesting, especially like going back to NABJ when he was going, like I don't even know if he knew like how offensive he was being. And I don't know if like JD Vance knows how disrespectful and rude and weird he's being.
Well, and that's so they had an interview with his wife, like she was interviewed, and it was like kind of like, what are your thoughts on this when he's talking about racism and some of these other things? And it's the same thing that Melania has had to do, and so many of these folks. Well, that's not what he meant. I know
Yeah,
that's what he said, but that's not what he meant. And you're like, then he needs to clarify and
right.
become better at using his words. Use your words, sir. 2-year-olds can do it. You should be able to as well.
A law journal at Yale, he knows how to use words.
Right. You would think.
He was an editor. He's used a couple. But then again, it's like I wish I knew what that love would be. Like I don't understand the situation between them. I mean, people fall in love, they were young or whatever. But again, you shouldn't have to. It just tells you a lot about a leader if you're waiting for somebody's wife to try to explain the things that you were saying because you can't find your words to do that. Are you somebody that we think can run this country?
That's the other part that I think is funny is that it's that's not what he meant. And again, we've heard this about Trump as well. And I mean, how many people have you been in an argument with about Trump and they go, that's not what he meant. He said that's not what he meant, though. What he was saying was X, Y, and Z. And you're like, but again, you're the leader of the US and you're the voice of our country. So if you don't have the right words, then should you really be speaking for us? All of this to say, register to vote, get out the vote.
They're an actually vote, but like I'm not. I don't think that. I don't know. The last two elections were unprecedented. It's still unprecedented. Like it is like those have been the most important, and this one is the most important.
Yeah, but I also that anytime anyone says that word unprecedented, I do start chuckling because of so many of the people that have been like, can we get back to the precedented
Yeah,
times?
when was the precedented?
Yeah, I would like to go back to the precedented. Like I'm kind of over this unprecedented piece, which is so true. But okay, so can we talk about good stuff though?
Yes.
So how do you feel right now on social media? How is social media for you right now?
Like
You're breaking up. What did you just say?
I'm enjoying my social media. I didn't realize like how depressed and sad and downtrodden I was. I don't think.
No.
Kind of like when we were like, thank God when Biden was elected, like that we had been holding our breath for 4 years. And it kind of felt the same where I had already resigned to the fact that it was over. I
Yeah.
do think there's been some excitement.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to turn into one of those people that is like getting obsessed with everything and trying to make sure that I balance out my intake.
Right.
But I mean, I think that I've been enjoying and seeing things, and I've actually have been learning. What about your social media?
You know, that whole term that the hope scrolling, like I agree with you, like it's just been so much more positive. I will tell you Threads is my new favorite thing because I don't know what the algorithm is that they're using, but I am not getting the wackadoo city that, you get on Twitter or that you get on Facebook. So I do feel like it's still like a happy place. There's a lot of puppies, a lot of kittens, a lot of, and I think
Unfriender. So I mean, I think my social, even though there's still thousands of people, it's kind of balanced out. If people are being hateful, not if they have a difference of opinion, not everybody votes
right.
the same way, but I do think there is some hope scrolling, and I think people have been sharing like what can be and seeing all the solidarity. There was yesterday, it was like South Asian. I looked at this like South Asian men for Harris, and I was like, BD Wong. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I'm totally in love with BD Wong. Like,
Okay. Good to know.
He is my husband, and he spoke, and I was like, I'm voting for Kamala because of you.
Wait, does the executive producer know this, that you're in love with another man?
He does know I'm in love with BD Wong.
Okay. And
Like,
he's okay with that.
yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm just saying, as long as he's okay with it, then that's fine.
We
But
can stop watching reality television and we can actually watch a show with BD Wong.
well, he's SVU. He's VU.
But yes, but he's done a couple of other things, but yes, he's SVU. So I could.
That was my first introduction to him, and I love him. Yes.
I do think the thing that was really what I did enjoy and I hadn't been used to were seeing like these little fun clips of like people dancing or happy music or different things. So that's made me more hopeful.
And I think that's the piece that like is so needed right now because, in talking to folks, I don't know if you saw this, but there is a man who has predicted like 90% of the last 40 elections or however many elections over the years, however long since he's been doing it, I guess. And he is predicting Harris.
Is he? Because I was looking for that guy. I couldn't remember his name.
Well, it was prior to the VP pick, but he's like there, and he described it, and I didn't get through the whole video. Let me be clear, it's very long.
Yeah, and he's got math equations.
Yeah, there's like, yeah, and then I did the subparticle of this and that, and you're like, okay, so can you fast forward to the end? So I literally stopped it, sent my friend a text message. I'm like, so what's the answer? What did he say? And he's like, it's Kamala. But I'm curious to know, like, are there factors that would change that? Like, meaning, does the VP pick change things? But I also want to tell you who I'm in love with. You can have BD Wong.
Okay.
I am in love with Pete Buttigieg.
I'm in love with Pete Buttigieg too.
I just love that he is not messing around. He is not trying to do silly stuff, and he's just giving answers.
Yes. And I was like, that was kind of where I knew it wouldn't happen, but I was secretly hoping that Kamala would pick. Because that's a ticket
Yes.
and a half.
I mean, he had to pick like the world
would fall apart.
Like people would lose their minds because we're just, which is unfortunate that we're still at this. People aren't ready, but
right.
I just want him. I want him to be our president soon.
Yeah, I think my favorite part with him is that he's not afraid to fight. That's been kind of, everybody wants to win, but he's one that's going into the fire when everybody's running out and he doesn't care. That's who you want. He's very knows what they stand for and willing to make those comments. He just makes me laugh.
Yes, I think that's what it is that like every single time he's talking, you're like, he's so succinct and he literally isn't trying to be like snarky, right, but it comes across sometimes as snarky because it is so like, yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. And this is why it doesn't make sense. And this is why Trump is wrong and you shouldn't listen to him. And you're like, heck yeah, Pete, go for it.
Go there.
Yeah.
Listen, the funniest thing yesterday, Kamala was in, I don't know.
Detroit, what?
Yeah, was it? Yeah, he was in Detroit. And all of the ladies who make salads, you could tell all of these ladies go to potlucks and salads, and they were all like, hi. And I was like, this is so wild to me because I hear a lot of accents. That is not an accent that I'm used to hearing, that Midwest, only on SNL and TikToks. So I'm listening to this voice, and then she's like, and at the end, she's like, we're something, whatever. She said, we're never gonna.
Okay, what is going on with your microphone? Every time you start speaking highly, it goes like,
Maybe I should not speak.
is your computer, or am I turning old and like it's like I can't hear certain.
There is, I mean, you're the only one who said that today. I
That's a
don't,
possibility, right? That is
you
totally a
know.
possibility. So listeners, if you heard what Jackye said,
Well, I can change it and see, maybe this will help. But she was saying, the lady was like, we're not gonna let a Buckeye be vice president. And everybody was like, woohoo, because he like graduated from Ohio State or whatever. I was like, that's gotten the biggest response. And I was like, that was a mean thing to say, to say. And they
yes.
were going off. They were
Well,
all ready to mount up on that.
well, yeah, Michigan and Ohio State, like it's a thing. It's a major thing.
But
Yes.
I'm from Texas. I've never seen anything like, there was going to be a fight right there.
Uh-huh. Yes. And also like the Ohio State is like known as like the elite. And so I think it's also just people like hate them just on principle alone. But again, I'm from Ohio, so I think
Yeah.
Ohio State's great. So
Well, I'm from Texas, so I don't, but
yeah.
whatever.
You just
It's
stick with
not
Baylor.
Texas.
You just stick with Baylor. Everything's fine. Everything's totally fine. Yes.
Right. Because I'm
Um,
pretty sure,
yeah.
I
So
like I say, if there's a
tomorrow,
zombie apocalypse, they'll have my back, those bears.
tomorrow,
Man,
Kamala will be here in Phoenix,
and you're going?
and I'm going. Yeah. There's a
How'd you get a
whole
ticket?
there's a whole group of us going. You just had to like sign up.
Well, I don't know. I listen.
Yeah.
And Kamala's been in Houston a million times, and I was
Good.
like,
Why haven't you gone?
girl,
Listen,
next time,
I
next
have to go to
time.
Glendale for this. It's going to be far. I think it's going to be in Glendale.
That'd
I'm
be
guessing
hot.
it's going to be in Glendale, and maybe it's in downtown. But yeah, we don't know what time yet because it's like they're still, so I'm hoping it's after work, but it might be during the day, in which case, I'm sorry to my boss.
I hope it is during the day because you need a break. Everybody
I
needs a little
don't.
break.
I'm fine. Everything's fine. Um, but what else was I going to talk to you about? Oh, so I did join the White Women for Kamala call.
Oh, how was that?
Amazing. And I know it's been a few weeks now, so like, I know everyone's talked about it to death, but it was just so cool. And, it opened up. I missed the first 15 minutes and then the Zoom crashed. You probably heard because they had so many people on it. And so when I joined, uh, what is her name? Why am I losing her name right now?
But
She is married to a soccer player. Glennon Doyle. Sorry. Glennon Doyle. Why? This is my life. I can't remember names. She was fantastic and literally like called every woman on the call out like, okay, white women, we have truly hurt Black women. And now is the time to get behind them and do what they tell us to do and focus on what their example is. And so, and like every speaker after that, it was the same thing, like, and not in a like mean way, but just in a like, hey, we got this idea from Black women. We need to fight the way that Black women have carried all of us for so many years and years. And, the whole concept of like, you don't have to vote the same way that your husband does. And you can make your own choices and make choices for yourself and for your kids and just be thoughtful about all of these things. And it was really cool. All of the speakers were really good. And Pink was awesome. I thought that they were going to pull Taylor Swift out at one point. I
yeah.
was thinking, but but then Pink, she was actually like in Stockholm or something and like had just come off stage. And then they closed with Megan Rapinoe and
Yes.
Sue Bird, which was really cool. So, and it literally was like Sue Bird was great because she's like, I'm in a work environment where I am a lot of times the only white woman, and a lot of my peers are women of color. And, and so I do have to like, hey, what are they wanting us to do? And I follow what they say and I listen to what they say because they know what they're talking about. And, this is a time when we all need to do that. And we all need to listen to Black women and follow their lead. So I was like,
It's
heck
like,
yeah.
I was like, somebody's been paying attention to some of these classes and what we're going through, because that was what I got so fired up about last week when they had the stuff. We're looking at the Olympics. It's there's lots of action going on right now. And then when somebody was posted and we're like, oh, look at women supporting other women. And I was like, this are Black women supporting other Black women. It's the first Black pony. Like, this is a historic moment. And you totally co-opted and took all of that out there. Like, you didn't pay attention to just a week before of explaining what the challenge is. But that's what was so nice, that some people did get the assignment, like they understood. And it wasn't to be like not be able to be proud of being, it's about acknowledging, meeting people where they are, still being accepting of who you are, but knowing that there's different spaces that we're going to have to look at it to support. We are supporting a Black woman getting it to the office. So we already know, based on the things that we've learned in all these DEIB classes, of what is going to happen. And it started from the very beginning: microaggressions, being disrespectful, and also how Kamala has to advocate for herself is different than what we've seen before. Like, I put up my post on Facebook from the election from 4 years ago that said, I'm speaking. And I thought, oh, it's going to look so old. Literally yesterday, she's like, I'm speaking. And I was like, whoa, we're still doing that?
Yep.
And she has to advocate for herself. And people, and it's like, I'm so glad that so many people have listened and understood and looked at those things, and even though there will be definitely news places that will use it as a negative trope and, oh, you're so angry and you're so whatever, but at least somebody knows. And so it didn't feel as alone as it did in the past. I didn't feel, I knew that it would be tough, and I felt bad that Kamala had to volunteer and tribute in this way. And we all, know what that means and the risk. And I was happy that they did that, but it didn't feel the same as it did the first time Trump was running. And it just seemed like all these people hated Black people, and there was no support, and nobody was sticking up for anybody. And we had to just sit there and look at it. Even at the beginning of going on with Biden, it wasn't acknowledged.
Right. It is weird though, Jackie, because she did just turn Black according to Trump. So I don't know
you know what? Yeah, because she can't be both. Either.
That was also
Tell me he's not racist again. I appreciate that.
Exactly. Yeah. Nope, not at all.
How can you be both? Really? That can't be.
But it's also if you think about that statement and think about every family in the United States right now. What family isn't a multiracial family, in some form or fashion?
Right.
And so it's also what?
You don't have anybody who's married anybody?
Right.
Anywhere?
At all.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Have you taken your DNA test, sir? Have you done your 23andMe? Because let me tell you, honey.
You need to. You need to immediately.
You need to immediately.
I did like that, I had a conversation because, I like to have some conversations just to entertain myself. And I had one of the folks that I was speaking to mention oh, well, China's controlling everything and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, who on this planet thinks that China doesn't know every single thing about us at this point? They know how many times a day I go to the restroom. They know everything about me. And guess what? I'm not that exciting. So I don't care. They don't, what are they doing with that? I'm very boring. So, that's all. Have at it, China. Have at it.
I just laugh at the Patriots too, where people are like, oh, America. When I'm like, show me the flag that wasn't made in China. Someone.
Any of them. Yes, exactly.
I only shop at Hobby Lobby. It's like, you're not supporting who you think you're supporting. Everything in that store is made in China.
No. Can I tell you, there is a podcast, and I need you to know about it. And I need everyone that is a listener to know about it, because it's freaking hilarious. And it is called I've Had It. Have you heard of this podcast?
No. What is
Okay,
that?
it's these two women that are like Southern to the core. And you would think that they're going to be like Uber Trumpers. Like the first time I was like, oof, I don't like when someone like sent me a clip like, hey, listen to this. And I was like, oof, they're hilarious. But one of their things is that we're taking back the word patriot. So they call their listeners patriots and gaytriots.
They do?
And they're like, we're taking back the flag. We're taking back the word patriot. Like, who the Democrats are patriots. Like, we are actually the ones that are being patriots here, not the other way around, and oh, they are so, so fantastic and just comical. Like, just one of them is an attorney. The other one, I can't remember what she does. But again, you listen to them and the first couple minutes, you're like, ooh, this is going to be like, and we love everything about Trump. And then they just lay into him and it is awesome. Yeah.
I
And so,
have been lately listening to Pod Save America
oh,
podcast.
yes.
I've never heard of that before, but they talk about politics even when we're not having elections and like the marketing and things and it's been really, really interesting. I've been going back a couple of months just to hear because, when I wasn't paying much attention, what was going on. It is very interesting, highly recommended as well.
Awesome. Like I like that one. I haven't listened recently. I should get back to that one. But I've been listening to that when I've been at the gym. So I know you are on a workout extravaganza, Jacqueline.
Yes, I am planning to do a half marathon in October. And so I'm running every day. And now I've started long days. Like on Sunday, I'm doing 9 miles.
Wow.
I'm like, where am I going? Actually, Todd said he'd follow me on the bike. And then, whenever I'm done, just hop on.
Todd's like, I'll follow you on my phone and be able to track you.
Yeah. And I'll tell you when to turn around. Turn around. I mean, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go.
That's awesome. Are you feeling good?
I'm feeling really good. Today was a non-workout day, but I've been feeling really, really good to the point where I wake up in the morning and I feel like I have to run. And I don't like running, but I hate the way I feel if I don't run more than running. And I'm still like, what are you doing? Like there hasn't been a day, and I asked some other people that run and I was like, but how do you keep running? And I was like, do my body ever, do I ever like running? They're like, oh no. Like your body will continuously tell you to stop running.
Yeah.
It's like,
And then at some point, your knees are going to go, it's been cute, but you think you're a runner.
Yeah. I think that day's coming soon. Like it's been interesting. I've been blessed. When I started the journey, I had really bad problems with knees. I don't have problems with my knees anymore. And somehow, and I'm really flexible and I'm doing really well. And I'm like, but this isn't, that's 3 to 5 miles.
Yeah.
9 miles. I think my hips are
But
going to
it's
give it.
bananas. It's bananas when you start doing it. So that's the part so it's been quite some time since I've been running. I am a walker. And I did the breast cancer 3-day walk like 2007, 2008. It was a while ago. And it was amazing. And I trained with my old lab who is no longer with us. And it was awesome. Now, I'm like, how did I do that? Because going out now to walk the dogs, it's so hot out that I'm like, how was I training for this the entire, like, I don't understand, but
it's too hot. I didn't plan this very well. I was like, this wasn't good. It's in October, so I'm training through the summer.
Yeah. Well, and it's also really sweaty Betty out.
Oh, it's gross. Absolutely disgusting. But, I do my best.
Rock star. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks. I've been enjoying it. I really have. I'm surprised. Now, I haven't done, like I said, I train up to like 12 miles before actually going. And so we'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it in San Diego. So at least there's tacos at the end, no matter.
Oh, wait a minute. You're doing the rock and roll?
No, we're not doing the rock and roll. I'm doing I forget what it is. But it's around I think it's the Pacific something.
Okay. Well, I'm just telling you, if it's in San Diego,
get ready for,
all right. Well, get ready for a lot of hills.
Yeah. The Pacific Beach Half Marathon.
Yeah, you're gonna probably have a lot of hills, and so I'm just saying you're not gonna get to experience that in Waco.
It's not that bad. It's like we go around the intercoastal like in a circle.
You better check the elevation on that, sister,
We
because
checked it because
I'm
I was like,
telling
we
you,
wanted one very flat.
if someone could let us know the elevation gain and loss during the, what is it called? The Pacific
Yeah, the
round trip,
Pacific.
round trip extravaganza marathon.
Yeah, Pacific Beach Half Marathon.
Well, I'm gonna come to San Diego and get a sign and be like, go, Jackye, go.
Yeah, I'll be there and then come eat tacos.
And then we'll eat tacos together. It's good. It's good. All
Yes.
right. Jackye, what's one thing you want to make sure our listeners heard during this episode?
I just hope that they vote. You know, I really want everybody to know, again, like every election, this stuff is really serious. And I want people to pay attention. And I'm not gonna, I of course would love people to vote for my candidate, but just to pay attention to what's going on, I would feel better. So that's the biggest thing. What about you?
Well, I think first I want to make sure that our executive producer heard about your love affair with BD Wong.
Yeah.
That's my first piece. And since I'm not allowed to say the same thing that you do, I will say I want everyone to register to vote. Does that
And
count?
vote.
And vote. Yeah. But I was trying to not say the same thing you said because you get
No,
mad.
you're always trying to copy. That is what you're just, it's okay.
It's very hard not to try to copy you. You're very cool. Okay. By the way, we need to know, listeners need to know, did you buy that cup or did you not buy that cup?
I didn't buy the cup. I did not buy the cup. I have a full addiction problem, just a shopping addiction. So I'm like, I'm just not going to buy stuff I don't need.
Well, I
And
just want to tell you, I don't want you to buy it because like Stanley cups are kind of passe now. Like I want you to stay cool.
but
So
that one was so cute.
it was super cute, but we can find you a super cute one that's a Yeti,
Yeah.
not a Stanley.
Okay.
That's like white girl. I don't even know, like some.
Shouldn't be against your people like that. It's rude.
Well, it's not really my people. They're a special subset of my people. Let's be clear. But I did see a SNL skit where it had like a bunch of things that hung off your Stanley cup, and it was like a shot glass and thing for your cigarettes, and like so stupid. So dumb. But anyhow, all right. This is Katie Van Horn.
And this is Jackye Clayton. Bye.
Bye.